Material here, back with Surge Media, and here we're going to be talking about some of the new transfer targets that's going on this transfer window. And this summer it's been a very interesting type of season with the Club World Cup, especially coming up. Teams are looking in to bring some players. A few teams are wanting to get a rebuild, try to progress from last season. Some of these teams were underperforming, and they're looking to build up from that. And the first team here we're going to go over is Manchester City. Manchester City. Last year was a really weird year for Manchester City. Really, towards the beginning of the half of the season, Erling Haaland was scoring goals as usual. City were racking up points, and then I want to say around November, December time, Manchester United went to a huge slump. They went 10 games without a win, I believe, something around that. And it was just really surprising for Manchester City. They brought in Marmoush in January, tried to fix that problem. Nico Gonzalez also. But they were still unable to catch up to the Premier League leaders of Liverpool and, if you want to say, Arsenal as well. So with the likes, Reijnders has been pretty much confirmed from this season. And Cherki, who played brilliant against Spain today. Aït has been the only player I'm pretty sure that has been 100% done deal for Manchester City. The other ones are pretty much about to happen. It's just not officially confirmed yet. But yeah, here's how I would have the team. I would have Ederson. I think Manchester City should go for another goalkeeper, but at the moment, I think that's the last thing they really need. Seven Ortega is a good backup, so if you want to swap in and out, which they have been doing for just a couple of years now, they could do that. Center back Ruben Diaz and Gordon. I can never pronounce his name. He's been playing left back for a little bit now, but I think Manchester City, United, City do need a proper left back. And from Wolves, Aït has been fantastic. He's always been a talent in these past couple of years. So great signing for Manchester City. They really do need these past couple of years now. They've been lacking in fullbacks. Kyle Walker has been aging, and but he's always been such a key factor to Manchester City. Went on loan to AC Milan, and I think Livramento would be the solution to that for Manchester City. So Aït and Livramento being the future fullbacks for Manchester City. Center back role, I have Ruben Diaz and Gordon. They also have Kushinov from what team was he in France? I forgot what team he was in France, but they have so much that in the center back role as well. Kanji also. Midfield, Kevin De Bruyne leaving, pretty much joining Napoli is pretty much a done deal. Here they have Reijnders, which is pretty much also a done deal with Cherki. Cherki, amazing talent. And with Rodri coming back from his ACL injury, really excited to see how this Manchester City team will do. People are saying maybe Pep Guardiola will go to a 3-back, full-back situation, but I just don't think that's Pep's style. I don't think Pep Guardiola, he's known for his center backs going high up, so I just doubt that would happen in Manchester City. My headset is about to die as well, so I'm gonna go quick. And then up top, Marmoush, Haaland, and Foden. They have Doku, Savinho. For me, it was just weird signings from Manchester City last season to sign those two, knowing that you have the likes of Phil Foden into the team, and signing too many wingers is just not gonna solve the problem for Manchester City. But with this, the City team looks way better. Also that with Nico Gonzalez, you have Savinho, Doku, so Kushinev, like Akanji. It's so much talent, in this Manchester City team, and there's 100% some players that deserve to get minutes as well. But this is what I have for Manchester City. That's how I would have the team with Cherki, Reijnders, Aït and Livramento. That's how I would have them. Next team here I would have, is Real Madrid with the signing of Franco Mastasiano. I can never pronounce his name. But, with Xabi Alonso coming into the team, most likely could be a 3-in-the-back, fullback, wing-back situation here in Real Madrid. The signing of Alvaro Carreras was pretty much a done deal. It's been stalling for a little bit now. It's been rumored for a long time. And Trent Alexander-Arnold being officially confirmed. Same with Dean Huijsen. Rodrigo is rumored to be out. But the Madrid team, for me, I've been saying for a while now, is that they have so much depth in the team, so much talent, so much depth, and that's one thing Madrid didn't have last season. Last season, was huge on injuries. Because for me, Carlos Ancelotti was just the main issue with that because he didn't really use his bench. He didn't use his young talent. He didn't use the academy. He kept on playing the same players in and out, week in and week out, and still getting the same result, which I just did not agree with under Carlos Ancelotti. But I think this season is really good for Real Madrid. All the transfer targets that are coming, that is really important. Last season Real Madrid were forced to use a right winger as a right back. Sometimes, most of the times, Carlos Ancelotti didn't want to play Fran Garcia, who's a proper left back, and would rather play Camavinga, would rather play an Alaba, would rather play anyone else that Fran Garcia left back if Mendy was hurt. Um, Tchouameni sometimes plays center back as well. So this team I want Real Madrid. I want to be a depth team. I want to be a rotational team. When someone's if Bellingham's hurt, we have someone to cover him. We have Brahim Diaz, we have Masturano, we have Arda Güler. If Carrera's injured, we have Fran Garcia. If Trent's injured, we have a Carver Hall. If a center back's injured, we have another center back to cover that role. I think that's a huge important thing for Real Madrid going to next season. And this is pretty much, for me, Real Madrid are not going to have a 100% guaranteed starting. I feel like players are going to change in and out throughout a lot. Real Madrid is going to be such a rotational team, formation-wise, playing-wise, tactic-wise, for Real Madrid. So Franco might not start every week. Might if Rodrigo stays, Rodrigo rotational. Arda Güler, Brahim Diaz, Dani Ceballos, Tchouameni, Nico Paz if he does join. Even the center back row: Rudiger, Alaba, Dean, Militao, Carver Hall, right back, Fran Garcia. It's a whole different way how Real Madrid will start for next season. That's how I would have Real Madrid. Next team I have here is Manchester United with I have Ederson here, but I forgot that Ugarte is a Manchester United player. Here is how I have Manchester United. They are last season they had probably the worst season they've had in the entire Premier League history. You know, People want to believe in Ruben Almiron. I want to believe in Ruben Almiron. Last season was just terrible. One of the worst performing sides of all time of Manchester United. You couldn't think that they would get worse. People with Jose Mourinho, they're like, oh, we're playing bad. Next can be Ole, and they're like, oh, we're playing bad. Next, Ten Hag and Ralph Rangnick. And people didn't think United would get into this level here. But new season, new time to revamp. You're not in European football, lost the Europa League, so you're going to focus on the Premier League, and one way to do that is to bring in new signings and try to revamp and try to use Ruben Almiron's playing style and how he would set up the team. So here, they need a new goalkeeper. Onana has just not been that guy for Manchester United. Same with Badir, or Bahadir, whatever you say, the Turkish goalkeeper name. You need a new goalkeeper who's shown himself. He was a winner, and it's Emi Martinez. People have doubts about Emi Martinez, but he's a class. In penalties, he's really good. Um, you know, they need a proper goalkeeper, and I think Emi Martinez, who is heavily linked. Manchester United did try to get him during the January transfer window, but it never happened. Backline, I feel like it could change here and there, but at the moment, Lenny Euro, who's been showing himself after that ACL injury he had really early on the season, that he can be that main center back, that best center back for Manchester United. Then there's Delit and Mazzuari. Mazzuari was one of the key factors early on to the Manchester United team. Really important player under Eric Ten Hag, and Ruben Almiron. And then there's Delit. For me, you can try to find someone else unless you want to play Mazzuari a wing back and play Diallo more up, but you did sign these two attacking players, which I'll get on to after this. Dorgu was Almiron's one of his first signings. For me, I would, if I was United, would try to get Aït-Nouri, but Dorgu has been a system player that Ruben Almiron's really tried to bring in and try to fit him into the system, so we have to progress and try to see how he will do. And then midfield, you have Bruno Fernandes, who's been United's best player with Ugarte. Bruno Fernandes, it looks great for Portugal against Germany, and now he's going in the final against Spain. That game is going to feed families. That game is going to be such an amazing game. Probably not as much as this France versus Spain game that happened today, but it's going to be a really exciting game going on to that. And Ugarte, who's played under Ruben Almiron, and You kind of need that defensive player type role in the midfield. And I think Ugarte got it. I had Ederson right before here, but I completely forgot that Ugarte was in his team. There's so many players that are linked to leaving Manchester United. There's a Kobe Mainoo, who's, academy player in Manchester United. Same with Garnacho, um, or, the academy size. And then there's rumored to be leaving. Same with Casemiro. Same with Rasmus Højlund and Anthony and so many more other players. It's sad, turned like those players that, I thought that was going to be Manchester United's future. I thought it was going to be a Kobe Mainoo, Rasmus Højlund, Alejandro Garnacho, a Rashford. But just wasn't the case for Manchester United. So, and here, right wing back, you have Amad Diallo. You have to, yeah, for me, he has to be in his team, such a key factor. But before he got injured, um, you have to have him added to the team unless you want to add Master Hurry wing back and get another top defender, maybe Lisandro Martinez if he's not injury prone or trying killing people with his tackles. Um, but yeah, that's how I'd have pretty much the midfield and defense back line, and this is where you get into the official new signing, or pretty much official new signings here. And you have Matheus Cunha from Wolves. Big money spent with Manchester United for Cunha. For me it was a bit pricey, especially because Wolves were relegated. Um, Wait, Wolves were not. Wolves relegated. I need to double check that because I don't remember being. Unless I got it wrong. Let me check it real quick. No, Wolves were not relegated. Never mind. It was Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton. So never mind. I take that back. So yeah, United spent big money on Matheus Cunha, who was, people were saying that he should be on team of the season. People were saying, he was a key factor why Wolves didn't get relegated, and Wolves' best player. And he was in Atletico, didn't work out for him in Atletico Madrid, but we'll see under this Almiron system with the players that he wants and the players that he likes. We'll see how Manchester United will do here. And then here is I can never say his name. Mbeumo. But he's from Brentford. To Manchester United, and it's pretty much almost a done deal. I think one of the contract offers or the transfer fee was rejected, but it's pretty much a done deal, confirmed with him. And then Victor Gyokeres, who nothing really is much said about him. I think Manchester United do need a proper 9, and he's worked on the Ruben Almiron. He's one of the top strikers in the world right now. If people debating because he's in the Portuguese league, we'll see what happens with that. I still think he's a top striker and deserves to be in the top team in Arsenal or Chelsea. Chelsea probably not Chelsea because they find Delap, but he's worked on the Almiron under the system, so I think he will perform for Manchester United. And Rasmus Højlund being linked to Inter Milan and stuff like that. I think this team for Manchester United will 100% perform. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for these couple player transfer targets, how I would set up the team. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you guys next time.